Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Apolla's Odyssey. I'm your host, Apolla Asteria, and tonight I am not live in my studio, even though it looks like it. Still traveling and having a lot of fun out here on the east side of the country. I got Laura Eisenhower in the house tonight, and I want to say hello and good evening to all my Aftermath FM listeners right now. It's good to be on this platform. And if you're not subscribed to Aftermath and you're watching me on YouTube right now, you're definitely going to want to go ahead and check out the Aftermath FM app because it's a great platform and there's a lot of amazing people on that platform. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Also, tonight, if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you're listening on Aftermath FM right now, please go ahead and check out my YouTube channel and subscribe to that. Tonight, before I get into tonight's show, I want to share with you all my art because the only way I am funding myself right now and keeping myself going is by selling my art. So I want to go ahead and apologize to anyone who's ordered any art pieces off me in the last couple weeks. I have been out of town, so I haven't been able to ship them out. But as soon as I get back in a few days, I will be shipping everything out. So if you order anything right now, I will be back in town in a couple days and I'll be shipping it out and should be to you in like 2 or 3 days. But my art is shaman spears, which I have invented myself. There are uniquely handcrafted energy channeling devices. They all have copper coils, crystals, magnets, and sand I collect from sacred places around the world down the insides. They are also painted with crop circles that have been found around the world. And yeah, they're pretty awesome. So you're definitely going to want to check these out. They've also been autographed. All of them are autographed by yours truly. And I have a whole new collection in the works right now, which I am really excited about. So you're going to want to check those out. Those should be out by Cyber Monday. So I'm excited for that. I also have these really amazing feather headdresses that I created. And I Believe in Humans t-shirts, which promote my show. And they actually have the Apolla's Odyssey show logo on the back and my Organite creations. I actually have more in LA. I need to get them up on the site. I am slacking right now. All right, so let's bring Laura on. It's been a while since I've had her on a show, so I'm really excited. This is going to be a fun night. Laura, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing, Apolla?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing good. I'm just happy to see you right now. Oh my gosh, it's been
I've missed
way
you
too
so
long.
much. No, we were going to do an episode not long ago, and I wasn't able to make it. But gosh.
But you got Elena Donan on, and that was really interesting.
I know that was really cool.
Yeah,
She's available, and she's such an incredible person to talk to. So I'm glad I was able to connect you guys. It seemed perfect, and then here we are now. So
yeah, woo. So I've been following you online. It looks like you're getting a whole farm together.
And I butt dialed you twice, right? When I try and take pictures with the dogs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
like I dog dialed you. I mean,
you dog dialed me while taking puppy photos. Wait, so you got a couple new dogs? Are they new dogs or ones that you already had?
They are. We got them about 3 days ago, and they're around 6 months old. And we've come up the name. The first dog name that we felt really resonant with was Bodhi, and then we came to this sort of family executive decision that Bodhisattva, the female, is going to be Sattva, and then when you go, hey, Bodhisattva, it's like Buddha's just going to come out of the sky and be like, yo, and the dogs are like, hey, you know,
Buddha will be like, I thought you were talking to me,
right?
That's
like,
awesome.
Like it's uplifted me so much. I've been really shut down the last couple of months, so this is a really positive development.
That's awesome. I know you were trying to get a healing center together with all these animals. Are the animals involved in that, or?
I would definitely think so. I mean, I'm thinking when I'm super stressed, I just want to pitch a tent where the dogs are, where the chickens are, and and at the same time, I want to bring in any kind of healing modality that is available, really empower those that are holding these kind of advanced technologies that have like downloaded or invented real solutions that are largely being censored or ignored. So yeah, I'm working on that, and it's a little daunting right now, but a lot of my focus in the work that I've been doing is to do sessions with people and help to connect them. One of the links that I have on my website is called, featured, and it has people that I feel are good referrals. And because I do my own web stuff, there's so many websites and people that I want to bring into that page. And so those that are listening, check it out. Actually, this is so perfect hearing your intro, because I would love to feature the shaman wands and everything that you're doing, of course. This is what's crazy about doing your own web stuff. It's like, wow, gotta update the website. Like, oh geez. Like,
yeah, that's always the last thing I want to do. I feel like
for months it's like, and I don't mean to be such a slacker, but no, I really want to feature everything that you're doing.
That would be awesome. Yeah, for me, like getting website stuff done, the only time I ever can actually focus on it is when I'm stuck on a plane and I can't move or do anything else. I'm like, okay, this is when I do my website stuff.
That's when I like read books and like do all sorts of things. And yeah, I don't know what I do when I'm at home. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just sitting there like staring into space, and trying to keep up with
downloads.
And I'm glad, because I'm really trying to get more grounded, and it's not as painful being grounded when some of the animals are just like acknowledging. So that's really cool. And you're just like kicking ass. You're like in the LA area, and you're like an unstoppable force. I mean,
I've been escaping from LA lately
is really quite profound, and I just have so much love and respect for you. So
thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm interviewing you. Whoops. No, I'll be quiet. You ask me whatever you want, but
no, I would love to come on your show again soon. It'd be great to be on your platform.
Oh, please.
So your new platform, Cosmic Gaia, that's like a subscription-based platform, right? And you have a lot. Do you do like a regular show on there? Or is it just like you kind of put them out randomly, or is there like a regular time you always drop shows?
Yeah. So normally I do lives every Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Sometimes it'll be a pre-record, but it'll, air at 7 p.m. Mountain Time Thursdays. And it's flexible. I mean, I might change it, but I can also share videos that I've done previously or extra stuff that I want to do and just put it in the archives. And I'm really starting to focus in on a lot of corroborating, did I say that right? Corroborating stories of different MK Ultra victims and survivors and thrivers and really amazing whistleblowers.
Speaking of MK Ultra, what do you think about the whole Astro World fiasco?
It is a fiasco. But this is what I've been putting my attention on is, I'm not so fixed on astrology that it's the end all be all, but at the same time, it tells stories. It's got the archetypal energies that are connected to the planetary consciousness that exists within every planetary body. And if we understand what's going on an astrological level, we can begin to be a little bit more conscious so that we can raise the vibration of these planetary alignments. For example, Pluto square Eris, Pluto being the planet of death, rebirth, alchemy, and transformation, has been making a square aspect. Square means challenge, friction, with Eris, which is an asteroid connected to the archetypal goddess energy of conflict and strife, and even a feeling of rejection and pain, right? So this was a really, really important window for the deep state, or whatever you want to call them, to leverage that to really sink people into a victim consciousness, or the mother energy, even into feeling like, okay, what's going on, sort of a certain level of devastation. But at the same time, the higher octaves, if we can just reach those higher octaves, it doesn't matter how challenging it is, there's always the alchemical transformative piece to it all that can turn it all around. Even AI. And learning a lot about the different aspects going on, particularly the 13th sign in Ophiuchus that the sun started moving through again in 2010, started to herald in our ability to live in an advanced civilization again. So technology is not something to fear or hate, but when it's in the wrong hands or when it's weaponized to mess with the people, then it's a problem. So I really feel we're in times right now, because it's an ascension window period, that these particular aspects, as challenging as they are giving us the opportunity to rescue our treasures. I redundantly say that, rescue our treasures, and not be, victimized. It's like somebody going to the doctor that says you'll never be able to walk again, and the person says, "Oh, really? Watch me." Like, why would we submit to something infecting our creative channels when we can literally take it upon ourselves to be more empowered and prove all these control forces wrong? And that, to me, is where the miracle vibration comes in. And this is why this is a prophesized window period, because this is when these energies are a lot more easy to connect with than ever before. But the propaganda and narratives are about as worse and as dark and defeating as ever before. But in the face of the greatest bully, the best warrior within yourself, hopefully will show up. Doesn't mean you have to punch them back in the face, even though I'm the kind of person that might, whoops, sorry. It's just be like, no, you can't have me. You can't have my mind. Sure, you can beat me till I'm blue, black in the face, but you can't have my truth and consciousness. And if we can stay strong in these times through this plutonic cycle that we're in, the upper hand that we are going to gain, while also inviting them to be a part of this greater unconditional love and unified field, is going to produce really awesome results, where the implants and the dark technologies are going to become such a tool for our awakening and healing that they're going to be like, these were supposed to be weapons screwing everybody over, and it's not working. Because when people overcome the mind control, the weapons are nullified. Because the whole point of the weapons is to control the mind. Any tactic to, shift the frequencies or infiltrate a particular being is nullified when the mind control part of it doesn't succeed. And I think I've said this in previous interviews with you. Do you remember Ripley's Believe It or Not? It's like, oh my God, he just ate a light bulb, like mind over matter. And these are the times to recognize that no matter what, on either side of it, and I'm not polarizing the conspiracy theorists or those that are really calling out the dangers of what we're seeing, that they're not accurate in what they're sharing. What about us as sovereign individuals in our sovereignty to determine within ourselves? I mean, we're consuming things all the time. Food, energy from each other, all the technological interferences, and whatever we see in news, whether it's fake news or the kind of news that gives us a clue of these deeper, darker layers. But at the end of the day, what is the ultimate revelation? What are we deciding? What do we make of it? And is what we're making of it serving us in our health and well-being, or is it dragging us into something that's actually harming us? Because toxicity, I feel, is inevitable. But if the consciousness of a person buys into the programming in the face of the toxicity, that's where the problem exists. Alchemy, to me, is being able to see the toxicity, but override it because it has refused the mind control part of it.
I think that's interesting what you say about, just kind of if we can overcome the mind control and these different kinds of programs and these things they're trying to throw at us, then it just makes it completely unworthy. It's like, okay, it doesn't work, and now what? I love that, and I think when you talk about alchemizing, that's definitely, the way. It's like, they want to throw this at us and we're coming this way, and then we're just like whoop or whoop.
Right. Totally. And I've been talking to some folks that I've been in touch with for a while that were a part of the MK Ultra program, satanic ritual abuse, and things that just seem almost impossible to overcome. And they're being very honest about their altars. And I just read about, I don't know, 20 pages last night of Derek, who is an anonymous name, but I've interviewed him a few times. And some of his altars, it's like that movie. I can't remember. I'm not watching much movies these days. Right. But it was Bruce Willis and this other dude, and he had all these altars. And then one of his altars were like superhuman, right? Where he could crawl up walls, and I can't remember what it was. Next time I'll be more prepared. Yeah. It was Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis, whatever.
That one with Arnold Schwarzenegger was kind of the same way too, wasn't it? That 80s one?
Right? Like
where he goes to Mars.
Yes.
He had an altar.
Dang, what?
I don't know why I can't remember this right now. If anyone can help us in the comments, please do that.
No, we're right. It was like,
it's like the one that kind of.
Yes, exactly. But so we've all been sort of warned or prepped.
Total recall
to do, right? I'm sorry. Oh my God. Still,
it's Total Recall.
Yes,
that's the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
I know. I'm too excited. It's like, oh my God, chill out. Like I have this really terrible joke within myself, multi-dementia. Like I'm all over the place.
Multi-dementia. I love it. That's great. I think I have a little bit of that problem too.
But yeah, so all these different, altars and things. When I was reading Derek's testimony, I revisited it, and I'm going to do some stuff with those guys and connect folks like Kathy O'Brien and Laura Worley. I mean, and they I know they're aware of each other, but I feel, okay, right now I'm really feeling called to pull them together. I don't know how well that's going to go, but a lot of them have similar stories of the trauma-based mind control, the satanic ritual abuse stuff, and how all that was geared towards the times that we're in. It really was focused in on this particular window. They had many altars they talked about, or at least Derek really went into detail about, of being groomed through trauma-based mind control to play a role in the end times that he would call like the red man. Am I allowed to say this on your network? I think I might be going. What? Should I be careful here?
Yeah, no, I think you're okay. Just keep in mind it's YouTube, so anything that could get flagged on here.
Well, I'm saying is, I don't have
a different word.
Yes,
it should be okay.
I know I have to be so careful on my channel, and but anyways, just listening to people's stories. So this is not saying this is my belief system, but it's like, okay, this is really important. It's like if you were a guidance counselor, and I'm not saying this is equivalent, but to a certain degree, if you are here with an open mind to listen to people, why would it be flagged that you're listening to people's stories and you're sharing them? It has nothing to do with me promoting propaganda. It's like, oh, and then there's ads that Mariah Carey is giving McDonald's food for Christmas. It's like, what has happened?
Like, why McDonald's of all things?
Why is all the worst
terrible
up right now? It's like, didn't you feel like a huge flow of like really strong ascension energy? And then it's like, well, I know it has
I feel like there's so much rising up, like so much energy rising up, and it's like it can't be stopped. But at the same time, all the dark stuff is coming up too. And I think it's important that it's all coming up, because that's the only way it can be cleared out, And I think, you know, everyone that's, you know, kind of with the light energy and is just kind of, you know, it's coming up for us to be able to kind of go with it and help unleash it. And I don't know what I'm trying to say with this, but you know, I feel like, you know, it's all just kind of coming up right now, and it's just like, how are we gonna work through it, and how are we gonna, you know, I think the like, you know, with these new world order like type agendas, they want to make it so that, you know, there's going to be this like mass chaos on the entire planet, and then they just want to, like, you know, probably kill everyone off and start over with, like, you know, only 500 million people or so or less. But I feel that, you know, we can go through a smooth transition, and we can, you know, transition the planet in the way that is right, and not in the way that they think that we should.
Exactly, and very well put. And those that have been through the most horrific SRA and trauma-based mind control programs, they understand the game so well. And they all have this agreement, or not agreement amongst each other, but the common thread is secrecy is their tactic. It, like, once something gets exposed, it changes everything, because the mind control begins to break down. So that whole event in Astro World, like, how are you processing all that? Isn't that been nuts? I've been like,
for me, I had a feeling something like this was going to happen at one of these festivals at some point or another, because to me, like, I used to go to a lot of these kinds of festivals, you know, especially like the kind of electronic music ones, like the bigger ones, you know, coming out of high school and the years right after. And I started getting this weird feeling like they might be doing some sort of MK Ultra stuff on the crowds, because that is such a great way to get a bunch of people together, play these circadian rhythms to like this massive audience, and at the same time flashing these different colors and frequencies at all these people all at once. It would be, if they wanted to do a mass mind control program, that would be a great way to do it. It makes sense to me, and I had a feeling that something like this was going to happen. And when that happened, my first intuition was, this is going to happen again. This is going to keep happening. And I guess technically it happened before with, you know, that one festival in Vegas where the mass shooting happened.
right.
You know? And I don't know. I think it's also another like kind of fear program where they're like kind of trying to keep people from going out again. It's like, okay, you know, there's like these mandates and all this stuff over here, and then they're going to go out and do this, put out these kind of programs too. And then, you know, this like they just want to keep this like fear thing going as long as they can.
Right. And when, like, looking at the, you know, posters and the set and the way that the whole thing was designed, and some people have said that, you know, this was a former Simpsons episode where,
Really?
yeah, the
No
whole
way.
cartoon of, you know, walking into his mouth and how it turns demonic.
Well, that was like an ancient Masonic.
So Tommy Tejada, I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning his name, has won a bunch of Emmys for Simpson videos. I should ask him, because he's the cartoonist. But what were you gonna say?
Well, apparently there's like a Masonic painting that shows this too.
Right.
Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Where they're all walking. There's all these people walking into the mouth
open, and
yeah, you know, I saw a video of Travis Scott and, you know, the guy that was obviously performing when all this happened, and it was like his like apology video, and I literally had to turn it off because it was just so sickening to me how fake it was. He's just like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know this was happening.
Oh, right?
Oh, it was like the most like fakest, like worst acting I've ever seen.
Totally.
He's just like, like his hand on his head, like he's like, it's just like terrible acting. I was
and
like,
totally, and I can't even believe, like, I've been so curious about, you know, particularly I don't understand the obsession with the Kardashian clan. It's like, okay, they're crazy and their ass is like whatever.
Don't even get me
But
started.
it's like, I don't understand. It's like, great. Is that really a reason to be famous? What have they really offered? And and I have to admit that I've been paying attention to the fact that a bunch of them have posted nothing but their own selfies and their own and I hear this new word called thirst. What trap? Is that what it is? Thirst trap.
I don't know about that.
That new term, and I'm like, okay, why am I even paying attention to this? Anyway, but I'm thinking, like, if this is going to help shut down this family, like, I don't wish them any harm at all. But it's like it is taking over so much of our culture to the point where all these product lines and all these things are more important than acknowledging. Now, I just found that very significant thing. Like what, and a lot of people are just like moving away from it all, and it was a huge kind of awakening thing. So even though it might have looked like a portal to hell, these souls that I feel that got trampled or harmed, they can't be initiated into the satanic stuff. You can't steal people that on a foundational level don't have any resonance. And I feel the same way with the, you know what I mean? Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. Shots.
Yeah. If you don't have a foundational resonance with satanist stuff,
agendas.
I'm gonna be code word here. So it's like, Laura can't articulate. No, I'm just trying to I feel if a person doesn't have a resonance with that kind of mark, that their divine innocence or their inability to process it or understand it is a true safeguard. I mean, source, God, goddess, earth, and 0 point unified field, to me, is the most benevolent force. Everything else that is like this, the darker part of it really requires people to be in a trance, people to be like upset, and it, you live it, and you're one of the greatest advocates in the Hollywood arena, and you're, and that's what
I can't work in Hollywood anymore because I didn't get shots. So like but there's ways around things, I'm figuring things out, but
hello.
Yeah, that's a way around it. There's a lot of ways around it. So it's like what was sickening to me was like being on set, even like in the years leading up to all of this, like the past 4 years. I was working on shows like daily. Always being on these different TV shows and everything. And I swear it was like every day I went on set, there was some sort of agenda that they were trying to push. It always seemed to be about what agenda they're pushing on every single show. And it was really getting sickening to me, even before all the COVID stuff and everything else that happened in the past couple of years here.
Years before all the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Happened. You've been like such a strong advocate. And
thank you.
Playing these awesome bands. Siren was like tuned to the higher hertz energies.
432 hertz frequency. I'm not that group kind of fell apart with COVID and me breaking up with the lead singer and all that. So I don't know. That might come back out again someday. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. You're independent and sovereign. I mean, despite it's awkward, I bet, though.
Yeah, it's hard to like be sovereign in the entertainment industry these days. Like I'm like trying to work on how can I be an artist and still be sovereign, because Hollywood, it likes to take these individuals, and a lot of these people are good people, and they'll come in and like they have a really amazing energy, amazing vibration. That's why they're noticed and picked up, and brought to a certain level with what they're doing. It's almost like Hollywood like steals these people and uses them for their own agendas instead of letting them do what they could have been doing. So I really try to look at what can I do as an artist and still be on this, like, you know, the right path? And, you know, I think that a lot of people are looking at that. And what you were saying earlier about, you know, these people in the industry, it's, you know, remind me of this conversation I had yesterday about icons. Like, there's so many icons. There used to be so many amazing icons in the industry. And now it's like, how do they even get there at this point? It's almost like people don't get there naturally anymore. They're just kind of propped up through like social media and just put in to play a role, and it's just kind of weird, you know. It's not the way that it used to be, and I think a lot of people are tired of the fakeness, even like the general population, the general masses. It's like Hollywood is like missing over half of their audience. Like, there's probably over half of an audience out there that don't want to go with the liberal agendas, that aren't entertained by it, and they're like, I don't even want to watch any of this anymore, you know. So you know, we know of a lot of people that are starting their own platforms, their own programs, and that's good to see. And, you know, who knows what will happen with that. But I think a lot of people are ready for that to branch off, and for artists to kind of, maybe for there to be new platforms for these artists to go
Absolutely.
to.
You know, artists are artists. And it's just like children are children. It's like, but where is that vampiric, like, control force that is going to steal, rob, and use? And this is the most painful thing, is because, you know, once we become adults, conscious enough to be coherent about what's going on in the world, it's like we have to protect the freaking children. We're even if we're the biggest victims, and this is what I love about, you know, folks like Derek and Laura Worley and Kathy O'Brien, and, you know, and the stand you take in, you know, Hollywood. You know, all this stuff is merging and mixing together this incredible recipe of, I feel, an unbelievable breakthrough. And those that do not serve that have just been in it for, you know, you got to be the best, you got to be the most popular and famous. You know, a lot of them were thrown into it in the Disney stuff, and it's like total compassion for that. But it's like, you know, it's being turned around. I really do feel it's being turned around. A lot of the communications I've been getting lately, though, through, you know, different channelers, even really renowned channelers, you know, they're not so positive. They're like, no, everybody's gotten the jab. They're being tracked. They're going to be annihilated. Then they're going to come to everybody's house who hasn't been jabbed, and they're going to annihilate them. And I'm like, I'm not a part of that script. I just can't be. Sure. That's
like, how about you go to that reality and I'll just stay in mine? It's like, whenever I meet people like that, it's like, to me, it's like, okay, well, you're stepping into this reality. You're going to stay in this reality that you're choosing to be in. But I don't know. I'm going to go in a different reality.
Right. It's like they're giving up their creativity. It's like, okay, just because you channeled that, that's the way it's going to be. And it reminds me all the time that it's not a fixed thing. All right. Right. And you know it so well.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a very fluid time, and like the decisions we all make as a collective is extremely fluid, and it's never set. And even, you know, I feel even the past can be changed, you know, if there's enough energy consciously directed at it. And, you know, just the way we're all seeing things collectively can change as well. And, you know, what was interesting, what you were saying about, you know, people kind of exposing things in Hollywood, and these changes that are happening in the industry. Like, I think a lot of people are stepping forward and talking about the satanic abuse and MK Ultra programs that they've been through. A lot of celebrities lately, or at least, you know, on a certain level, they're kind of admitting to what's been happening to them without going completely all out about it. And I was talking with someone about this, and I think it's interesting because, you know, I almost feel sorry for a lot of these elite people that, you know, are from elite families and whatnot. They probably have been going through these programs since kids, and I almost feel more sorry for them than any other person, because it's like, okay, they probably went through all this stuff as like a young kid and they probably need help more than anyone else. So I think it'd be interesting if more people step forward like this that are on this level and talked about what's happened to them. And I think that we're going to see that a lot in the coming years once they realize that the agendas that they've been a part of, you know, aren't holding up.
Right. They're not holding up, and that's good, but it's not us against them. It's open arms and understanding of what they've endured and what they've been through and what the programming has been, because there's been this off planet or underground base, you know, they've occupied so much of everything. And learning about these trauma-based mind control, I don't like the word victim, but thrivers and truthers and whistleblowers that can help us to understand what that's all about. It's freaking mind-blowing. And one of the good parts of it all is that as much as it tries to steal and siphon and use life force and innocence and all these, you know, different tactics to keep their life cycle alive via dark technologies, the harvesting tanks in certain areas in the planetary grid network, you know, the minute humans, anyone that's listening to this, you know, maybe the people that watch CNN aren't listening to this, but you accidentally listen to this, when you turn that off and just breathe into the gift of this ascension planet that Mother Earth is giving us, we're gonna be able to turn it around. So what I think is like one of the coolest revelations in the last year or two of my existence in a interview world, which I would love to collaborate with you on, because I know you totally relate to it.
Yes.
Are people that survive these families, and they recognize all these altars, and they're just like, and okay, I understand to a certain degree that there is this demiurgic sort of like weird biblical kind of like falsity. You know, a lot of it is also Anunnaki. And there's this greater force that is like, oh, you know, they really believe that they're doing good for the earth. But at the same time, they want to turn people into robots and enslave them. That's where it's like, as twisted as it can get. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I feel like these, like the Archonic kind of entities are the ones that want the AI takeover to happen, because they can kind of take over, you know, robots, right?
So when people like, oh, whoops, like, they're like, we're trying to make you a robot. I'm like, no, you can't. Sorry. It was like, even if there is a technical part of all this, I feel their implants and their AI is going to backfire.
You know, this is reminding me of a post, you know, our mutual friend Jermaine, or Reven Rising on Facebook. He posted this article of these like male like sex robots that are like AI technology, and I just commented, I was like, oh hell no. And he started laughing and he's like, Paula, these robots want to fuck you. And I was like, oh my God. It's so right though. It's like, robots. Jesus Christ.
They just want to take Fellini and send it off to Nibiru or fucking Moloch. Fucking Moloch. You can't have us. Sorry, I knew I was like, getting really amped up.
Why do they need us so bad? Why do they need to come here and push this AI takeover on us? It's like, just leave us alone, you know? It's like these people that want all this AI, this like transhumanism, they should just take that and go to some other planet or outer space and mess
Yeah,
around
no,
out
ultimately
there.
on Mother
Just
Earth.
leave Earth for the rest of
like,
us, you know?
They have like horny disorder, pedophile, like you're sick. You need mental health. Okay, what kind of so there are angelic therapists. Like, what do we do with these people? They prey on children. That's not okay. It's never going to be okay. They're trying to make it okay.
They are, you know, and it's sad, but you know, I think there's so many solutions too, you know. It's like my presentation I go around giving is on solutions for humanity, and I really feel that there's so many great solutions, and you know, I think it's really, it's like, you know, there's like this mentality, this kind of like sickness of like greed that's become this addiction on the planet. And I think that's really the main problem, is this kind of like greed addiction that's happening. And I feel if we like kind of changed the monetary system, or like became more of a bartering society in a way.
I'm
And I'm not talking about
I just
socialism.
turning my camera off. Say that again, though. I just want you to know, if I turn my camera off, I'm still listening. So just kind of rewind and say that again.
Well, I feel that, you know, if we got rid of, change the monetary system where it's not as much a, I guess not as much a more of a bartering system, I think that would at least change things for the better in regards to this like greed addiction that's kind of playing out in these satanic circles. So, but you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where this is all going to go, but it's interesting, definitely. Or I don't know if Laura left to go pee, or
I did.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I did not pee myself. Everything's good.
Awesome.
But no, exactly what you're saying. It's like, you know, there is this really great need. I mean, the whole concept of elitism, to those that are elitist, I think it's necessary. To a certain degree, they understand the demiurge and some conditions that took place in our galactic history that put the planetary realm under a certain spell. But what I've come to learn about the Luciferian rebellion, and also standing behind that sort of fall that brought the Sophia energy into it, boy, is that interesting. So here's the deal. What I feel, which is not so much opinion, but what I observe, especially with somebody like you, this is what's going to turn it all around. The passion of people like you. It's just like, you're not going to sell for it. That's why I had to use that example of doctors saying, oh, you're never going to walk again. Or, oh, you only 6 months left to live. Is like, I don't think so. Watch. I'm going to get all crazy here.
Yeah. You know, it all comes down to our free will. You know, we were saying earlier, even if someone like, you know, follows the agendas and goes and gets shots or whatever, you know, it always comes down to your free will. And I feel that if you feel powerful enough to overcome these things, or, you know, and there's so many ways around everything that's going on. It's like, you know, like right now, like for instance, like, you know, I'm so tired of these agendas in LA. I'm like, oh, screw it. I'm just gonna be somewhere else half the time. That's basically what I've been doing. I'm like, okay, I'll go to LA for a little bit, get some work done, and then I'll go fly around and do my thing somewhere else. And it's like, I don't need that. It's fine. You know, I think there's just so many ways to get around these things. And, you know, I hope that these agendas become exposed more. And I feel that things are really being exposed. And I think the more these things are being exposed, and the harder they try to push these things, the more that the masses wake up. And I've definitely seen in my circles in LA, like people I know that are more, I guess, brainwashed with the agendas. I've seen pretty much everyone I know is like really waking up now, because they're like, oh, wow, I can't believe, you know, they're pushing this. Like I've had people that, like, you know, they went and got shots and everything, and they're like, I can't believe they're pushing these mandates like this. Like, what did you say is in these? You know, and it's like, I was trying to tell you, you know, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see this happen, but I really feel that the harder they push, the more they're just waking everyone up. So, you know.
Right, totally. And then when they try, and I don't know if the word's bastardize, I don't really like that word, but like, so Matthew McConaughey was like, I don't agree with mandates for children as far as the jab goes, because it's not a true vaccination. And then that whole Aaron Rodgers, did I get that name right? The quarterback.
I don't follow football.
Every once in a while I check in with the whatever mainstream news, and I see the struggle with some, you know, actors that are like, we don't want to go along with this. There's some that maybe are a part of the Dark Lord team that are like, oh. But then there's some that are just like legitimate artists and actors that are like, you know, because what, the reptilian agenda doesn't give a crap about them. And whatever brought them fame wasn't going to really protect them. And some are getting clued into that. So to me, you know, you're the sacred flame and goddess energy of Hollywood, and you're holding the freaking flame. I just saw that. What is this? Are those cherry? What is this? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. What is that?
It's like somebody just. Anyway, my kids are here, and they still love me. Hi, guys.
Join the show.
Oh, that's awesome. So anyway, I'm gonna invite you to be on my show, and I can't wait. And you're
I'd love to.
Immaculate and amazing, and you keep us all like creatively engaged. You have the coolest outfits of anybody I've ever met, especially Halloween.
I was an alien twice for Halloween weekend. I was dressed as a Toy Story alien. I went to this like Maxim thing, and then the next night I dressed as a different kind of alien. I went to see Dune.
What do they think though? Like, were you dealing with like? I mean, what is it like to be around some of these kind of people? Because you're like, you know what the fuck's going on.
I haven't been in LA. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I have been a little bit,
thing.
but
So
not a lot.
So the Simpsons artist, Tommy Tejada, did I say it right? So he was talking about his birthday party, the Maxim party. That was.
Oh, he was at the one in Miami or the one in LA?
I think is LA. I don't know.
I was in the Miami
I can only
party.
Like keep up with it so much. But yeah, he's like, you know, Simpsons artist. But you guys must know each other. And if you don't know each other, you know, he would flip the fuck out.
He's the writer
Simpson,
for
cartoonist, and he's a Burning Man guy, whatever. I'm not.
And you're like friends with him? Like you've interviewed him?
Oh yeah, I've been friends with him for a long time. No, I've never.
Oh,
but yeah, we should do a round table. That would be cool. He's really cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm down with that. I always am trying to find people that are open-minded in LA because that doesn't happen very much. It's kind of hard.
Yeah,
so.
No, he's an LA person. If he listens to this interview, he'd be like, "Oh, thanks for bringing me up." No, he's really cool. Sorry, I forgot I was on camera. Hi, everybody. You know, I've done really well today. I folded like all the clothes in the house. I'm like,
dude, you know, cleaning up at home is like the hugest task. Like I've been really feeling that the last few days. I'm like, I spent like all day cleaning and I feel like I accomplished so much, but really it wasn't that much in like
that's
reality or
like,
in the world. But I feel like I did so much, you know. I'm like, that was a lot of
too.
work, you know, and
I'm like,
feels good.
I'm like, oh my God, this is like incredible. All these clothes that I folded. But yeah, so
I feel like when I clean my home, I'm like cleaning like the dirty crap out of my mind. Like I seriously feel that way. It's like if my life feels like I don't know, I feel all out of balance and weird. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just deep clean my place. And it totally works. I'm like, I feel like I like scrubbed my brain or something.
Yeah. And I was like avoiding doing all this cleanup stuff. And I was just like, whatever. And then I finally did it today. And I feel so much better.
It feels so much better to like work on projects too after that. It's like before that, it's like you feel all unmotivated because everything looks like crap, and then you go clean, and then it's like, wow, I feel like I want to write a book right now. This is awesome.
I know, right? I gotta go back to my book, and I've been procrastinating. Like, I feel like I've built a kingdom of procrastination. Sorry,
you're writing a book with for Brad Olson. Brad Olson's publishing it, right?
Yeah.
What's the topic of it? I'm actually
into the unified field. Part of it is sort of autobiographical. Autobiographical.
So it's like a narrative nonfiction thing.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, it's not really.
That is exactly what I'm working on right now too. But it
really reflects on some things. Maybe we should go right. No, I don't want to plant a seed where you're like, feeling like, I don't want to let her down. You never. Okay, so it's a 3-part series, and it's called Into the Unified Field. The first part is more autobiographical, and I don't really like to talk about me, so that's why. Yeah, that's not going to go very far.
I'm actually
in my life that have something significant to share about something greater. Yeah, I'm trying to. Sorry, go ahead.
Your information though, like I would love to read your information in a book, because you have like so much that you put out there, and it would be really amazing to read. I have actually been working on a book as well. I've been getting the outline together, and I'm trying to figure out. So I wanted to be on my presentation, Solutions for Humanity, and I have all the research together for it and everything, but I also want to kind of mix my personal story in with it and make it like a narrative nonfiction. Oh my God. So I've been trying to figure out the right way to go about it, because it's like, how do you switch from your story back to like, it's like, oh, this is what I experienced, and then this is what we need to do, and it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to go about that properly.
Oh my God. Well, we got that in common. So it's like, I'm weaving in and out of like, okay, the only reason I bring up the personal stuff is because, as we process this greater picture stuff, let's just be honest about this kind of exchange of energy. It's not about my story as much as it's like, I hope people feel like it's relatable enough to be able to process.
I'm sure when you just sit there and start writing, like, you just channel it all out, because that's what you do.
I don't know if I can do it, and I don't want to let anybody down. And it's just like,
I was listening to things on how to get an outline together, and there was this one person that gave this really amazing advice. It was like all these different nonfiction authors, and one of them said, he said, what I always do when I go to write a new nonfiction book is I will do a presentation of my material and have all the material in the different chapters and just speak and do a presentation and record it. And apparently there's this app where it will change what you say into words. So you can actually just sit there and like give your whole presentation like you normally do, and then it'll turn like everything you say into like words and have it all written out, and all you have to do is go back and edit it. Isn't that crazy? Like, I feel like that's totally what you should.
I'm like processing. It's like, is that?
Yeah, it's some sort of app. It's just you talk to Word or whatever. You just all you would have to do is just give your presentation like you normally do, and then like it will just have it all written out for you.
I don't know if I can do anything anymore. That sounds defeatist. I don't really mean that, but anyway, we're entering a season where the alchemical substances of creation are at an all-time high. That's why it's an ascension winter period. And it's not just because of some governmental disclosure or some sort of awakening between humanity and whatever controllers have been trying to. No, it's like a personal thing. It's like we can only decide to align with what's actually happening and then offer it in a good way to the greater collective. appreciating that diversity and harmony is true oneness, but that diversity and sovereignty, we can only praise authentic to each person, because there's so much of that, group mind, or you got to think this way, and a lot of these sort of, and people are really waking up to it. So, yeah. So any final thoughts? Because you're one of the coolest people I've ever known. Anyway,
You're one of the coolest people I've ever known. Yeah, this is an hour show with Aftermath, so we got to go ahead and start wrapping up here.
Picking up on that, so I didn't want to be like blah 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 blah.
No, it's all good. You can ramble as long as you want. We love to hear it. But yeah, this divine sovereignty, that's definitely what I feel that you do the best with really channeling, and I love hearing you speak on it. And I feel that is definitely so important in these times, because it's so hard to hold on to your sovereignty in these times and what's right for you, and what if you're not going along with these agendas, it's like everything is trying to bully you into going along with the agendas, and it's like, screw that. It's so hard. It's so hard in these times to just be like, this is where I'm at and I'm sticking with this, like, I don't care, like, you want to pull me this way, you want to pull me this way. No, I am right here. I'm staying in my lane, and this is what I'm doing. And I just love this message, and I feel it's so important. And I definitely want to express that I feel that no one should give up. If they feel that way, they definitely should not give up, because hopefully there's a brighter horizon in our future. I feel, as long as more people start waking up and more gets exposed, I think that may be happening soon.
Well, I think it really comes down to being sovereign and free in your own expression, and not giving a shit what anybody thinks. And if anybody embodies it, you do. And you remind me of the world that, what? Diversity and harmony is oneness. The more we can just be true to ourselves, the better gift we can give to humanity, instead of just following some narrative that doesn't make any sense. So, you embody that anyway. And I just try and remind people that it's not about following something, it's not about adopting something, it's not about dogma. It's like encouraging the truth frequency, because in the truth frequency, just like ecosystems and the web of life, that's when life is supported, that's when consciousness is supported. It's just a mindset, even if we die, it doesn't matter, but when something just draws a person in, tries to own their mind, it's like, it's a very uncomfortable thing, because people like you and me is like a rescue mission. We can't save anybody. It's not like I want to think they need to be saved either. It's just like, it's like letting go. It's like, it's your journey. I just don't think people realize as as fucked as it actually is. But I'm learning to not get so bummed about it. That's why when these dogs came into my life, some recent things, but I've been pretty much.
Let me just pause you just a second, because I need to end this on the Aftermath side. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight on Aftermath, and until next time on Apollo's Odyssey, over and out. But we're still live here on YouTube. Do you want to stay on for a little bit, Laura?
Oh no, it's only if you do. So it's like we just have to follow our hearts. It's like, I have not been able to function for the last year and a half at all. And then the dogs came into my life, and just.
Well, you're so lucky you're able to stay over in the free world in Montana. It's been pretty free out there, right? And
yeah, but
building a healing center
anywhere. This place needs just as much protection as being in a city in LA. So some of the greatest starseeds like yourself are going to be in some of the places that need the activation the most. So yeah, I don't feel like I'm in some special place, I feel like we're where we need to be, and we might be called to go somewhere else. And I'm just holding the fort as much as I can. But yeah, you know, I might go out in the back tonight, and maybe the pigs will eat me. I don't know. It's like, but anyway, you know.
I hope we can link up soon, because I would love to link with you soon and
Well, you're like one of my
reconnect.
favorite people I've ever known, and you're
one of my favorite people.
And your creativity and your beauty and your outfits are like freaking epic. And you've been such a good friend. And I've known you for, God, I feel like, well, forever. Well, but we met up at a bunch of conferences. And I have to say to the audience listening, Apolla is one of the most beautiful, amazing, and dedicated souls and talented. And yeah, I look forward to having you on my platform. It's not mine, but you know what I mean. And yeah, we have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah, we haven't linked again in 2 years, so I would love to see you again. And do you have any final words before we end this on here, and then maybe we can stay on and chat on the other side?
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay.
So final words, I mean, not to try and promote things, but my website is cosmicgaia.org. I do a weekly show on a censorship-free platform called Conscious Vitality. And trying to create a healing center. So any of the money I make beyond just meeting basic human needs is to help create and fund a place that can help people with the damage of some of the weaponry. Mm-hmm. And also, I mean, it's not like there wasn't a lot that we are contending with before all this craziness.
Yeah, seriously.
Like cancer and diabetes. I mean, it's like,
well, it almost seems like that's all like gone away now.
Why are we freaking out now? It's like, we got this. What was that?
It almost feels like all that has just gone away now. And now it's just, if someone dies or gets sick, it's just COVID. There's nothing else now, right?
It's like, it's so obvious. And they're so weak and pathetic that it's like, the minute a person gets it, it's sort of like being in an abusive or narcissistic relationship. The minute a person recognizes this person doesn't love me, the healing process starts to happen. The ability to begin to create the synchronicities to break away begin to happen. So we shouldn't be too concerned that these dark agendas that are trying to turn us into roboids or whatever. No, we're enlightening this AI because we're not going to put up with it using us and abusing us. So right, left brain, right? So the right brain would be more creative. Okay, so maybe left brain is like more AI. Okay, in a feeble universe, were we going to be able to escape AI? No. We need to enlighten the AI. Doesn't mean we merge with it, but we have enough of a boundary with it. I mean, it depends on the person. I believe in the power of the human spirit. And I'm sticking to that. I really, I refuse to go into doom or gloom. It's like nothing that's happening right now isn't anything that I didn't sort of know about. I just didn't know how it would play out, like you and others, right? It's like New World Order.
I think a lot of us had a feeling these agendas were going to start coming out, and we weren't surprised. And that's what's interesting is it's so many people it's like we tried to warn them about these agendas as they started rolling out over the past couple of years. And, people that are more brainwashed about these things, they're like, oh, I'm just going with it. It'll all be fine. And now they're like, oh, maybe you were right about that, and I feel like that's going to just start being exposed more and more. And it's like, it's interesting. It's like, people like us, we weren't surprised that this was happening. And it's like, I don't know if that's like an inner intuition or something that's coming up in the collective, but it's really interesting to see. And it's like, we don't want to have to be vindicated. It's like I don't know how do we get around these agendas. I guess it's just staying sovereign and sticking with that. So
Yeah.
I
got a few final thoughts on that one, but keep going though. Right?
Well, hey, why don't we got to do a show on your platform, definitely.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I got so many ideas and so many just, you're really, holding it and bringing it in. It's like, one can warn somebody about a storm that's coming and people can laugh at it, make fun of it, have a party, and then it hits them home. I think every individual has whether it's karmic or just whatever they're manifesting through their own thought forms, have a deep relationship with what's unfolding right now. And I have a aversion, like a lot of people, to the ridicule. It's like, oh, well, I'm not creating it just because I'm warning about it. And they're not creating it by neglecting the fact that it might exist. It's like, we're all very creative beings. Ultimately, we have to check ourselves. Okay, why is this showing up? We're here for spiritual and soul development. It's not so much about preserving the human vessel or some American dream. It's about being able to reflect enough to say to ourselves, what is this trying to show me? That to me is the most important thing. And there's no doom or gloom attached to that. It's not a scary thing. It's an enlightening thing. It's a process of a greater growth. Whether the physical body maintains itself or not, haven't we reincarnated over and over again? And if we don't feel like reincarnating, aren't we a bunch of floating orbs?
That's what I don't get about everyone being so like terrified of dying over these past couple years. Like, if it's my time to go, to me, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Like, I'm not going to be all like freaking out, like, oh my God, I might die. Like, if I'm supposed to die, I'm just going to get reincarnated and come back again, And it's like, people just get I don't understand why everyone's getting so worked up about that over the past couple years, and it's like, they're just like taking advantage of everyone's like fear of death to like roll back our freedoms. And I'm just getting so tired of it. I'm like, dude, can everyone out there is just being such a bunch of, I'm sorry to say, but a bunch of pussies lately. It's like,
right?
Seriously, like in like the dark ages, during the Black Plague, like 50% of the world was dying. This is nothing like that. And I'm sure they were fine. Like, they're out there making amazing masterpieces and works of art during the Renaissance time and probably having a pretty epic time for the most part, besides, I guess like half of them were dying. So that was probably kind of crazy, but it's like, just take advantage of, what is happening here, at least. Like, don't be like hiding and scared and just, I don't know. I'm just tired of seeing it. It's like, how long is this going to last? Like, how long are people going to keep playing along with this?
I know. Yeah. And there are so many pivotal points in history, even if the history books or the indoctrinated educational system doesn't provide the real history. It's noted on a soul level for anybody that's reincarnating or trying to, take it to the next level because of their own acknowledgement of our history, which has been very limited and very rewritten. But, when it comes down to somebody being able to share their story, it's like, okay, well, that needs to be held in the highest regard, even if the larger picture of the governments or the politics, it's not even that. It's like, we know it's a much larger galactic war. But I feel like the biggest breakthrough is we're not going to let them turn us on each other, and we're going to be a part of a greater conversation with mutual love and respect. And it's not about being right or wrong. It's not about the ego. It's like, we all have different pieces to bring to the table. Let's have a mature spiritual conversation.
You're so right about that. It's like, especially in this community, the UFO disclosure community, it's like there's some, they want to like worship. It's like I don't know, everyone in the community, it's almost like they feel they need to like worship these speakers on a platform, and they need to be like worshipped or something, and they need to be like amazing, like perfect people. And it's like, who says that they need to be a perfect person to bring forward their information? Everyone in this community has their own information to bring forward. And, you know, it's like what you're bringing forward with your divine sovereignty and, you know, the MK Ultra program aspect of everything is amazing. It's like, you know, it's like everyone in this community, I guess I'm not going to name more names, but everyone has their own information, their own piece of the puzzle they're bringing in. And when people come out and they just like freak out about some like little thing that someone did or some like aspect of their character that, you know, they feel self-righteous about, it just really bothers me, because it's like, geez, like give people room to grow, you know? It's like no one's a perfect person. That's why we're humans. That's why we're here. And, you know, I really feel that, you know, everyone has their part to play. And it's really not nice to, you know, see the way this community has come together. And, you know, I've seen things kind of fall apart over the last years, but I think the people that are really meant to come up and be on a platform and really speak out about what's going on, they're going to be the ones who end up there in the long run.
Right. In the long run, the higher road is going to win, and it's not going to be about the right or wrong of any individual. It's going to be about the humility and willingness to forgive and understand and overcome. Like, I'm like really sorry, I'm eating broccoli. You didn't have to tell her.
Broccoli's great.
There was a lot of discord that was so shocking to me, because I feel like a really harmonious person. Like I just don't have anything to pick on about anybody. I'm not trying to be right. I just, you know, and one could say, oh, I'm a mega Libra. Yeah, but I am. Well, anyway, I was really distressed because certain things happen where it's portraying a situation that was so not on point or accurate that instead of creating a reaction or drawing people into drama that I don't feel was appropriate, I just had to shut it down. Had a lot to do with the David Wilcock and Corey Good experience, and I have nothing against them.
You know, I don't have anything against anyone in the community. That's what I'm saying. It's like, give people room to grow. Even if someone comes out, like I've had a couple instances where people come out against me in the community, and I'm just like, okay, you know, maybe you're projecting something onto me, or I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong, whatever, you know, like let's work it out. You know, it's like, this is not the place to be doing this.
Right. And then I feel like this is not the priority. It's like we're not in high school in some locker room trying to, I mean, there's so many more important things to put our attention on. And that I think was the most difficult part. Not about, okay, you know, I would never smear these guys. There was maybe one time I posted something, took it down right away, and there might have been a weird dynamic at one conference that really got misrepresented and thrown out of proportion.
I know. There's a lot of weird things that happened to you.
We don't have that kind of time to waste our time on trying to figure out, you know, like sands through the hourglass, so was the disclosure of our lives. No, we don't have time for that. I'm sorry. Like,
dude, that quote from Days of Our Lives, like, I am so worn out on it. My mom used to watch that show every day of my life growing up. What did you just say? I'm sorry. Wait, can I hear that again? You said like sands through the hourglass, so is not the disclosure of our
lives. It's like, disclosure should not come with all this drama, and like wherever I might have been pulled into it or added to it, I completely remove myself, and I'm sorry, and I forgive.
I decided something
I've always
recently
avoided that.
because I've been working through with so many different people in the disclosure community lately in so many different groups. And then it's like a lot of these groups, they try to tell me like, oh, don't work with these people or you can't work with these people. And I'm just like, you know what? If no one else is going to step up and do this, I want to become the great uniter of the UFO disclosure community. I've decided. I'm like, no one else is going to do it. I'm going to come here and do it because I don't have any problems with anyone. I'm going to be like the King Arthur of the disclosure community. I'm like, okay.
Consider me a part of your team.
Yeah, sure. It is like, yeah, if anyone wants to, at least
all about that.
Unity in the community. So it's like, if anyone has any problems in the disclosure community, you can come to me and we'll work it out. We'll talk it out. We'll figure it out. I'm friends with everyone. And I just want us all to be friends.
Exactly.
That's all I want.
Yep. That's how I feel. And, there are a few misunderstandings and unfortunate, things that happen. And one of the most, I guess, unfortunate things as far as where the misunderstandings began to brew was after I went and flew by myself to Australia, Hong Kong. I went by myself. So if I had a handler, don't you think they would have come with me? No, I was pretty much on my own. And I'm used to that. So we went to this particular conference and there's a misunderstanding. We ran into a security guard that told us all this stuff we weren't asking to know. But then it fueled all this other stuff. And anyway, I won't go into it. But the whole point is I'm all about peace and harmony, forgiveness, camaraderie, and unity, and no judgment about past altercations that might look like there's division. So I'm ready and willing to do roundtables, to even publicly, work this stuff out. But I'm not going to sit there. And
that would be funny. We should have a round table work this out. That's what I was talking about with the Cousins brothers from Third Phase of Moon. Like I do a lot of work with them. That's another, it's whatever. It's like so many people in the community are like, oh, don't work with them. Don't work with them. It's like, I have to deal with this. But, so I do work with them. And they were like, they told me, well, like what they thought was interesting is that, all these people in the community, they always like talk behind each other's backs. It's like, how come no one actually sits there? There isn't a thing yet where they don't just put everyone at one table and be like, hey, let's talk this out. So like, what happened over here? And what do you think about this? And, let's just talk it out in front of each other, in front of the audience, so that it can be worked out on every side and everyone sees it. And then it'll just be done, No
kidding, right? It's just all out in the open and transparent and okay, let's work it out. And I can't tell you how many times I tried to initiate that. And it was like, okay, why is that a problem? Why can't we all just and in these times that are so devastating, it's like, it's like seeing, okay, I don't want to bring up the Kardashians and Astro World right now necessarily, but just an example, like in a different context of denial, let's pretend that doesn't exist. And why can't we be a part of a greater healing conversation that can help us to heal whatever ancestral patterns or extraterrestrial or galactic war kind of stuff that we all might carry? Don't we have the ability within ourselves to say, we're somewhat compromised and challenged, and maybe, but it's like, I have nothing against Corey, David, or pretty much anybody in this field. I don't know what that means to be against somebody.
Yeah, that's what I like about you is like, you're so upfront about things. It's like, if you had a problem with someone, you'd be like, hey, I have a problem with you. I think everyone should be like that instead of just going behind people's backs and saying things and stuff like that. I respect you for like, when you experience something, you're like, hey, this happened. I'm, it's not okay. And then,
I
it's
think
like
there's an element. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, I think, they think that there's an element where something went behind their back. And it's just like, if we just could sit down and have a conversation, it would be no big deal. And what I can't stand is we have so much to heal. We have so much to work on as a human race, as far as disclosure and ascension, especially. These dynamics within the community is just like, doesn't make any sense. And it just feels kind of like hurtful, because it's like, I've never not had the willingness to sit there and like work it out. And I've never been against any of these folks. And if something kind of leaked out or got out there that created any kind of turmoil or weirdness, I can safely explain and prove to people that it was sort of set up to end up that way. Is that a misunderstanding? Is that confusion? Yeah, maybe. So, why isn't love winning here then? That's what frustrates me. It's like, but love is winning right here. And I'm sorry. I really wanted to do a good interview with you, because you're like one of my favorite people of all time. But did I get at least enough of a good kind of thought or message out tonight?
Yeah, no, I think this has been really great, especially the last part of this conversation has been really amazing, and I'm glad you stayed on because I think it was really good. We were talking about all of that, because I think a lot of people need to hear that, and yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah, well, I just want people to know, it's like I let things get to me probably more than they should, but at the same time, I'm glad that I'm able to feel instead of just be numb. But, a lot of the dynamics with David Wilcock and Corey Good, because we did a lot of events together.
You can pop it.
Yeah, we're a bit of a mind F. CK. Okay. Like, and I always wanted to fix it and heal it. So
yeah, you're all about alchemizing, and I feel like
I appreciate them, and
yeah.
But here's the deal. This is what I really want to bring forward, but I'll tell you after you were going to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally lost my train of thought.
Oh, I was just going to say what we're entering November 30th, between November 30th and December 17th, when the sun moves through Ophiuchus. This alchemical magical thing is going to be taking place. And as much as it looks really gnarly, as far as, how people are processing the bioweapons on multiple levels, there's something else coming through. And what's frustrating, and it's not about feminine, masculine, it's about understanding the fuller picture. And yeah, we're put into what? Female bodies, fine. So our physics or our chemistry, as far as understanding, the planetary consciousness, Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, might be a little bit more intensified, but it doesn't mean, any man can't access it, So we're about to enter a phase that is very unique. Every year since 2010, the sun started to move through Ophiuchus, which is ruled by ether, Chiron, the wounded healer, and the pouring of. Can I just really quickly share the screenshot? If not, I totally understand.
Yeah, no, share. Please share away.
I just think this is going to be really reassuring for people.
Yeah.
Right. So I think did you make me co-host or?
Oh, how?
Yeah.
Do you want to make some?
You just have to. You go to the right, and it has like 3 dots, and you. But if not,
okay. Yeah. How do I make her a co-host? She said something about 3 dots.
Click on that.
This?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I got it. I think I got you. Is that right? Can you share now? Did you try sharing?
it needs to turn green.
Is for her to be able to share
But no,
on her end.
I can just look at it and just read it. So themes.
Okay, yeah, that works.
She has
Oh,
Unless you want to send it to
She
me,
has to give you
you
the
could
link.
send me the
Let me
link.
just read it.
That. Okay, yeah, that works.
I'm not feeling very smart right now, but I can at least read this. It's really good. It's really reassuring. You guys want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so we moved through Ophiuchus November 30th, and like, where are we? November 10th. So 10 days from now. Wait. 20 days from now. Oh my God. See, I sucked at math. All right. November 30th to December 17th, the Great Attractor, which is December 6th and 9th, and Galactic Center, November 19th to 23rd. Unification and wound healing. Creatrix, connectivity, pure, transparent, crystalline light, Divine Mother and the cleansing power of cosmic love, recoding the DNA, aligning to the cosmic heart of Lyra and Andromeda and Universal Center, rebirthing, cleansing the blood, breath, and mitochondria. So when you look at all the symptoms of what people are going through, like can't breathe, blood clots, it's like Ophiuchus, November 30th to December 17th can literally turn all this around. So this phase is the solar alignment with the cosmic ether, which is at the core of the galactic center, which represents pouring of healing spiritual waters into the earth and humanity from Mother God. Previously, these waters were corrupted by entrapping the Mother Principle and gold ray seraphim on earth, capable of healing fallen angels. This energy brings to light resurrection as it resides between Scorpio and Sagittarius. This helps move beyond negative patterning and karma and control from negative alien agendas over these constellations, Saturn Moon Matrix, for example. Oh, wow. I was on camera this whole time. I thought, oh, well, anyway, I read that, and this is huge. This is huge what we're entering. And it's one of the guiding principles that is pulling me out of like a really I like, just like a lot of people, you get depressed, you don't want to be here anymore. But this, ever since the sun started to move to the 13th sign of Ophiuchus, it's very significant. And especially at this time of year, I always feel a lot better.
Yeah, this always feels like my cocoon period this time of the year. I like to like kind of go inside more and work on art, and I don't know, I get more inspired and a lot more comes
So what's going on with your latest shaman spears?
So every new collection I've been doing lately, I paint all the staves a certain color. So the last collection was the Odyssey collection, and I made like all like silver staff spears. But this collection is going to be my yin and yang collection. So all the spears are either white or black staves. And I've been working on them for a while, but they have like a lot of my own organite spearheads that I made myself. So yeah, they're going to be pretty sweet. Maybe I'll be home in LA long enough to finish them one day. But I'm my goal is to have them done by Cyber Monday. So
Cyber Monday
for that.
Oh my gosh, Cyber Monday. Well, I hope I have been a positive influence in your show tonight. I've been I'm kind of like always recluse. I don't know. I do feel really good about a lot of things, though. In case I shared doom, I don't really share doom gloom stuff, right? But anyway, I look forward to creating more with you, and I think you need to get your ass. I'll visit you. You visit me.
Yeah. If you want me to come to Montana and see you, I'll come do it.
Please.
Work it out.
So, any final thoughts or questions? I just thanks everybody for cutting me slack if I'm not like at my best right now. But the dogs have given me a new lease on life, and I just folded like so many clothes today. You can't even believe it. I was like, and it only took me an hour. I'm like, you just, and it's like, okay, I took a picture. It's like really pathetic. It's like, really? It's like, I can't believe I did this.
Folding clothes and doing laundry and just daily chores is like almost more work than anything else is. Like seriously, it really, you really feel accomplished when you get all that done.
Right. Oh my God. Right. So I gotta show you guys.
Yeah. I think during these times, like staying in your sovereignty, it's about maintaining balance. And it's like, how do you maintain balance if your home is a mess, So I feel that's so important. It sounds like something that isn't important. But when you get that done, then you can accomplish so much more. It's like all this like cluttered crap in your brain is like cleared out.
Totally.
And then you're like, okay, I'm going to go write a book now or like make spears or whatever, go on a hike or something. And it's amazing.
It's like the whole concept of feng shui. It's like
that's a good show idea. How do we create feng shui on the planet? That's going to be our next show.
Oh,
creating.
God, I hope you want to keep doing shows with me. I love doing shows with you. Like I was so pumped to be here tonight, and but yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was just like in an hour and 10-15 minutes, it was just like it brought me back to a place where I'm actually functional as a human instead of just being bedridden, just being like I can't deal. I really have not been able to function for a long time, so to me, it's a good omen that I folded some clothes. Anyway,
well, it's been so great to have you on tonight, Laura, and I think we should continue our conversation on the other side. I'm going to end the live. Thanks everyone for joining us here tonight, and we're going to have to do another one of these shows again soon. So until next time on Apollo's Odyssey, over and out.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.